The best of the Morning X on 99X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. The original 99X.
Make us say wow. We haven't done it in a while. We are looking for stories right now that have happened to you, things that you've seen, things that you've done, things that you've been a part of that would absolutely make our jaws drop if we found out.
This has to have happened to you, though. It can't be a friend of a friend or someone that this happened to. It's got to be direct.
And we can sniff out urban legends with the best of them.
Yeah, first party.
Cucamonga, California. Hello.
About 2 years ago, I was an EMT, and we had a call up on Georgia 400, and it was a motor vehicular accident, and the car crossed the median and crashed into a cement truck head-on. It hit the cement truck. You know, the cement trucks have these big, huge bumpers, and it was a low-slung car, I think it was a Saturn. And we got there, we arrived on scene, and there was firefighters walking around. They weren't doing much to the people in the car, and it kind of made you wonder, and then that there's something bad going on. So walked up to the first firefighter guy, said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, we can't find a part of this guy." And I said, "Well, what part are we missing?" "Well, we can't find his head."
Oh.
And so they're like, "Hitch, you crawl around in the back seat and look for it." And so I hop in the back seat, kind of squeeze through the windows and wiggle my way in. And I get in the back seat, looking around. There's nothing on the floorboard, nothing, because that's usually where it would go. And
now, did you see the rest of the torso?
Yeah, the rest of the torso was sitting in the front seat. They already had it covered up, but I had to take a look just to see what it looked like.
Sitting there with a bunch of wires sticking out of the neck?
No wires. It was
Terminator.
Kind of a jagged cut, went at a 45-degree angle from the left shoulder to the right shoulder. Oh. And this was a pretty good anatomy lesson. You could see the trachea, the esophagus, all that stuff.
And you didn't barf right there?
No. That came later.
Oh, my Lord. Gee. All right, go ahead.
But we were looking for the head, and the firefighters started having flashlights. We were walking around the outside of the car, and we kept looking, and they extended the radius, and it didn't make sense why we couldn't find it, but we had to find the head because you don't really want to leave that laying there.
Now, that's not the kind of thing you want just lying around.
Yeah, and so we picked up the pace, kept looking, and we got about. I looked over out of the right corner of my eye, and I saw off in the distance, flashing in the emergency lights, was a little thing, looked like, I don't know, a bucket or something sitting on the road. And so I walked over closer to it. I was like, no, I couldn't be it because it was 150 yards away. It turns out right near the point of impact, actually 50 yards downrange from the point of impact, we found his head sitting on the ground, face up. There was no trauma on the head at all. The guy was coming back from a formal dinner, and he still had the collar of his formal shirt and his necktie.
Oh, my God.
It still had a bow tie on it?
Yeah. It was.
Oh,
man.
Are you telling the truth?
Absolutely.
You found a head with a bow tie still
Were
on
the eyes open?
No. Well, it just kind of had a blank look on his face. There was no trauma on the head. That's what we thought was really odd.
Wow. So were the eyes open or closed?
They were open.
Just kind of like, hey.
Yeah, it looked like the guy was buried in the ground from up to the neck, and his head was just sitting there.
And so did you pick the head up?
Yeah, I puked whenever I picked his head up.
Did you pick it up by the ears or by the hair?
No, I grabbed it kind of around the edge because I didn't want to just reach down and grab him by the hair or something like that. So I kind of grabbed him on either side of the ears and put him in the red bag. And heads are they're pretty heavy. They weigh about 20 pounds, I guess.
20 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you barfed.
Then you yacked.
Yeah, well, after I didn't really puke until I walked back to the truck, back to the ambulance, and we put a head in the bag, the body bag with the with the body. And when I set the head in there, I realized right then what I was doing, and that's when I puked.
Wow.
Wow, that is a big fat wow.
That's a capital wow. So you said that the truck hit the thing and the head went straight. It didn't hook or slice left?
Well, what happened was the car, as it made it crossed the median. It was going northbound, and it crossed the median into the southbound lanes. And when the cement truck hit it, it kind of spun the car a little bit to the right and took his head off, and then his head bounced out the window.
So it had some English on it.
Yeah, a little bit of English, yeah.
Were there scuff marks on the head from rolling?
No, there was no trauma on the head. That's what we thought was really weird because
It flew up in the air.
Like a fly ball.
Well, yeah, we guessed it was just because it landed in the median, in the soft grass.
That is unbelievable.
It had the collar on its neck.
That is, man, that's whack.
Okay, thank you. That's a big wow.
That is whack.
That is a wow. James, make us say wow.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, I was framing a house, and when I was shooting the air compressor gun, the nail slipped above the 2x4 and went through my left 3 fingers right below the knuckles. I know. It didn't mess the joints up in my fingers, and the guy that was helping me, I was like, oh, got a little dizzy, and I said, he's like, call 911, and I said, nah, just, relax. And he grabbed the pair of channel locks, and I held my hand, and he pulled the nail out of my finger. I know.
Okay.
There's nothing.
I once worked on a radio show where we saw the newswoman's left pinky off.
That's this show.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Man.
That's a wow.
That's a wow.
Mike, make us say wow.
Okay, when I was in college, I was a freshman in college, and I was at an ATM machine, and I got held up by these 2 guys, and I only had $5 in my account, so they got $5 from me. And
Live in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, $5. So anyway, they ran off, and I got in my car and drove back to my dorm, which is about 15 minutes away. I got back to my dorm, and I sat down, and I felt something wet, like in my seat of my pants, and I looked down, and it was blood, and there was blood everywhere. I unbuttoned my pants. I looked down. I had a small hole in my upper right buttock.
What?
And there was blood coming out of it, and I couldn't figure out what it was from. So then I called the campus police, and then the guy looked at it. He said, "Man, you've been shot." So I said, "No, there's no way." And he said, "Yeah, that's a bullet hole." And anyway, so they took me to the hospital, and I was at the ER, and sure enough, I'd been shot, and the bullet was lodged in my kidney, and I had to go into surgery. And I was in surgery for about 13 hours, lost my left kidney, part of my liver, some intestines, and some other stuff.
They shot you when you turned around?
I had no idea I had been shot.
Well,
That just gave me
when do you
chills.
suspect that you were shot?
You never heard a gun go off?
Were you just maybe he was just so freaked out at being held up? He just couldn't hear. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, I wasn't even freaked out about being held up. 'Cause, I mean, I've been held up before. I lived, in Chicago once before, so I was used to it. And I didn't even call the cops or anything. I just went. I said, "Well, $5, whatever."
Did
and I
they
went
ever
home.
find the guys?
Only then did I realize I had been shot. So
Well, then when do you think it happened? I mean,
they shot me, and later on they caught the 2 guys later that day, and they had the gun, and then they did the forensics test on the bullet, and that was the bullet that came from that gun.
What size of gun was it?
It was a 22.
22 had
Maybe
to
it
be,
was a
yeah.
silencer on
But
it.
but then when do you think? When do you think they would have shot you? That if you remember the incident.
Well, probably as they were walking away. Cause maybe now looking back, I might have heard a slight pop or something, but I just didn't realize what it was. But there was no pain involved at all. I mean, I wasn't.
Shocking.
I mean, no pain, just a little bit of blood. Probably maybe about a pint of blood or so.
You didn't feel like a little sting on your butt?
Nope.
How
Nothing.
bizarre.
I thought maybe it was a mosquito bite.
Why don't you ask Bob that same question, friend, when we have him on later?
That's a
Hey, thanks
wow.
for calling.
That's a wow.
That's another wow.
That's another wow. The guy was shot and didn't even know it.
This audience has really stepped up.
This is great.
These are unbelievable.
You know what?
Good wows.
Yesterday's audience was terrible.
You won't believe where this is headed. More after a quick break. This story isn't over. You're on the best of the Morning X on 99X.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid-fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.